Alright guys, I'm actually shooting this on March 1st. Unfortunately, my laptop hard drive just died. Thank you, Gateway. I appreciate that. Windows 8 driving me crazy, then my hard drive goes for no reason within the 90-day warranty. At least that's going on. That's good. I got the 90-day warranty thing, so I'm at least covered. But, unfortunately, I can't really access the new promos and everything that I had, so I'm going to be focusing on some movies in my downtime, I guess. And the first one comes from this 8-movie pack. Those Walmart dump bin things that you could find for like $5. Echo Bridge Home Entertainment. I love these things. I've got about 10 of them so far. There's a few more I wanted to grab, but I can't find them. These are usually just low-budget indie productions that came out recently, or they can be smaller films from back in the day that have cult status or something like that. I got a Puppet Master 1, 2, and 3 set that are just like this. And, yeah, I've been tearing into these off and on ever since I got some of them. And today, I decided I'm going to watch Doll Graveyard. Doll Graveyard. I'm looking for... Where the hell is... There it is. You could see it. Doll Graveyard. Full moon film, and I call it Doll Graveyard, that's what it actually is. But really, it's just Puppet Master number... Place any random number here outside of Puppet Master continuity. A coming-of-age story, basically. Not like the new Puppet Master 9 and 10, the Axis of Evil movies, not the back in the day, joining the army, fighting Hitler. No, this takes place in suburbia within the most amazingly, epically soundproofed house ever. Basically, it starts off with this little girl named Sophia playing with her dolls, which actually are kind of ugly looking for a little girl, but playing with her dolls, she breaks something of her father's. The father makes her go out and bury them. After she digs the hole and puts them in, he goes to pick her up. Whatever he uses to pull her out of the 2-foot hole, if that, breaks, falls, dead. I have no idea how she dies. I don't know if it's from the fall, if she stabs herself on something from the dolls. But either way, she dies, and he buries her. Cut to... not that far ahead, actually. The introduction makes it seem like it's from the 50s, the 60s, that era. Cut to the future. Cut to today. And I'll explain why it seems like there's such a different gap, but it really isn't. You cut to the father who's sitting there. He apparently has a date, and he's got 2 kids. The son, I believe his name was Guy, he collects action figures, and the daughter, whose name I forget, I really don't care, she wants to go out and party with friends for the night, but he's going on a date, she has to stay home. Guy, Key, whatever his name is, again, I don't care. He's given the chore of going out to the yard to clean up while she is stuck inside cleaning up, and then watching him while he's out. She decides, screw you, Dad, I'm going to have a party. So she has her friends over since she couldn't go out with them, and then 2 guys from their high school show up too. They bully Guy after he finds one of the dolls while he was cleaning. And they break one of the new ones that he just got. And next thing you know, they tie him up, and after the 2 guys leave the room, the samurai doll that he found out in the backyard is missing. And this causes one of the dumbest situations in the world. Honestly, I'll compare it in a bit. So, there's 3 girls, the brother, and 2 random guys. So you got 6 kids in this household. And this film just proves, in typical slasher fashion, I guess you would say, how stupid the teenage characters can be. And that truly does explain every character in this film. Basically, the girls have been drinking champagne all night, then the boys show up, and then they start drinking beer, but yet, most of the film, they're not even that plastered. You would imagine they would be, especially since some of the girls were getting high off marijuana. So you'd imagine their brains would be screwed up by now. Not screwed up as in physically screwed up permanently or anything like that. I mean just, okay, the room is spinning, I'm sleepy, I got the munchies. No, they basically react perfectly normal. Just the one boy in the kitchen starts showing signs of being drunk, but he is drunk, sober, drunk, sober. There's never really any determination of what's going on. So eventually, a voice starts speaking to the little brother, and the dolls that were buried, there 4 of them, start showing up, and they start attacking everyone in the house. The one friend of the sister has a thing for the brother, so they're trying to work out what's going on. Apparently, a spirit, who was the little girl, Sophia, is possessing the little brother and trying to use the dolls to kill everybody who threatens her in the body, basically, even though it's just threatening him, and the dolls. So it's just a war basically going on in the most soundproofed house ever conceived. And when I say this, I mean, okay, there's kitchen, living room, staircase, room. Even when they're up in the little brother's room, door ajar, and they're screaming downstairs or upstairs, literally a room away, no one hears it. Even with the radio going on, no one's hearing people die and screaming. Which, by the way, in some cases is dubbed. The little sister at one point lets out a scream that is so generic I have heard it before, and you can tell it doesn't match, because she screams again later, and that sounds more natural. The boy that's in the kitchen, who is drinking himself, literally, to death in a sense, the African-American African-American tribal, there we go, tribal spearsman doll shows up. And he's basically, like, partially drunk, even though you saw him take a swig, pass out. Take a swig, pass out. But yeah, he seems a lot more sober here. And he's just talking to the doll normally. He's like, yeah, you do steroids, man? You work out, you're ripped. This is the only juice you need, alcohol. He drinks the alcohol, starts leaning in, doll stabs him right in the eye, and then slits his throat with the most machete-like sound effect ever, metal on metal. And, so there's that. As he's groaning, his mouth is closed, but it's the same volume, the same pitch, the same kind of noise. Like, his mouth would have to be open in order to do that, but it's not. So there are some sound issues, some sound effect issues, and you can tell some of the things were actually dubbed over in the post-production. It doesn't really hurt the film, though. What hurts the film is the most epically soundproofed home in existence! And the fact that none of these characters seem to get, hey, there's shit killing us. We should leave. I swear to you, the most retarded things happen in this film. And I don't mean retarded as in, you know, mentally challenged, mentally handicapped, whatever. I'm talking just no brains whatsoever in the perfectly normal human individual. Hey, this thing has my cell phone. Let's call 911 with my cell phone. I have a fireplace pick thing, whatever the heck it's called. I'm gonna poke the cell phone away, and then you reach over and grab it. Why? Why would you do that? Why don't you use the picker and pull it towards you instead of being literally a dumb blonde? I hate to say that kind of term, but that's how this character is written in this film. The stereotype of a dumb blonde. That's probably supposed to be 15, 16 years old. I don't know. And then all the makeout scenes, because of the character age, honestly makes me feel awkward, but that's a whole other issue. She honestly slowly goes in, reaches in, and then the demonic doll baby thing just grabs onto her hand. Just bites her. And oh my god! And then the sister uses the fire poker thing to hit it, and then she reaches in and grabs it. It's really, in the previous scene, she hits one of them. It's like a war general kind of thing, and had a dagger on the cap, I forget what you would call it. Hit it with a golf club. Like, oh my god, what is this thing? Gong. Really, you couldn't do that to the doll baby? The baby doll? Well, either way, throughout the film, Guy is being taken over more by the Sophia spirit, And they slowly learn that he can control the dolls, but when Sophia fully possesses him for however long, he can't. And this is where the time issue comes in. And here's a spoiler if you don't want to know. Apparently the father of these two is the father of Sophia. And given the difference of age, it couldn't have been more than 10, 20 years ago. Even though the production, the sepia tone it looked like on the film, actually looked like it was from the 40s, 50s, 60s, something like that. Maybe not even 60s, 40s or 50s. And yet, here's a father, like, with the little kids. It just makes no sense as far as the timeline goes. Okay, I reviewed ATM not too long ago, and my biggest gripe was, run! Run to the car! That was the main gripe. The whole film could have ended in about 10-15 minutes. This one could have ended in about maybe 35-40 minutes, because they could have just like, oh crap, things are killing us, let's leave and call the cops. And also, the blonde girl shouting to 911, there are people injured here, there are these dolls killing us. Yeah, that could have... shouldn't have included that. These characters are just written so low in intellect, it actually becomes funny. Because I swear, all it is just a simple 2-story house, it's a small house, and they could have left. They could have been like, okay, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go outside. I'm going to go to a neighbor's and ask them to call 911 because we are dying over here. Nope, they don't do that. So, again, this was shot before ATM, obviously, but it's essentially the same kind of synopsis. We're trapped here, but we could get away. We're just too stupid. Yeah, that's basically the whole story. The production of the film is actually pretty good. It's a Full Moon Entertainment film. If you've seen one, then you have a good idea of what to expect, especially a Charles Band written movie. Anything with dolls, you know what it's going to be like, because any Full Moon Entertainment film with dolls of any kind is essentially the same thing, as far as the production goes. The only CG that was really involved in this was for the eyes. You can tell they were edited in later by a computer. Like, the eyes would close and then open up, and everything else is a practical effect. It looks good. The film itself looks kind of believable, whereas instead of having dolls go at each other with, you know, CGI. I don't know. The only other thing that I'm kind of confused on is the very end. Again, spoiler. All the dolls are back into where Guy found them. They're all standing around, and Guy slowly leaves. He slinks back into the darkness. They go around a corner, and there's this... I don't know if you would say kid. I can't tell if it's Sophia or a giant doll. I don't know. I couldn't really tell with that. The acting... It's on par for a Full Moon Entertainment film. It's not the greatest. Honestly, watching Guy, whoever, I forget who played Guy, watching that kid, it was like watching Bud Bundy from Married with Children. As soon as he started talking, I'm thinking, this is exactly like Married with Children, how he would act back in the very start of the series. Everyone else was just, it's okay. The acting's decent. You know, these are not card-carrying SAG Golden Globe Award-winning actors or actresses. They're just random people that obviously were picked up by Charles Band for this film. Doll Graveyard... Again, it's essentially just a why don't you run film, you're too stupid, you all deserve to die kind of movie. But to be honest, I kind of had fun with it. I love Charles Band's doll animations. Not animations, but the way he works the dolls into the film. I'm a sucker for it, basically. I mean, it's essentially just a Puppet Master film rehashed. I don't know, I just really enjoyed this film. I really got into it. It's not anything I'm going to watch again anytime soon. I could pop it in just to have background noise, though, but... I don't know. I think I gotta give this like a 6. Just, for a Full Moon Entertainment film, it's good. It's just, the whole thing is just rehashed. We all know how the stories go if you're a Charles Band film fan. So, yeah, I mean, just for the fact that it seems like Puppet Master just in an urban setting, some of the... I don't know. The acting... I gotta give it a 6. If you happen across this set, the Midnight Horror Collection Volume 2, with all these different movies, like Haunted from Within, Doll Graveyard, Watch Me, you can find it pretty cheap, and honestly, if you can, it's worth shelling the money out for 8 films, with this one included. It also has Evil Bong 2, King Bong, and Demonic Toys 2 on it, and those are also Full Moon Entertainment films, and those are both actually pretty good, but again, Demonic Toys is essentially another Puppet Master-style film. But this one, it's worth it. If you could find it for $5, or you could probably even find it streaming online somewhere, it's worth taking the time out to watch. You will get invested in the story for what it is. Just like I said, the ages of the characters to me were a little askew. They seemed like they were underage, jailbait kind of thing. So watching the sister make out with one of the guys, strap him down to have sex with him, but it never happens because of a doll interfering, that actually left me kind of awkward, feeling a little like, you shouldn't be watching this. But, you know, whatever. It's going to be in the film. It's going to happen. It's still worth it. I definitely suggest this film despite the 6 rating. It was fun. I enjoyed it. You'll like it.